Hello folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. I just saw an interesting interview conducted by The Ring magazine of Martin Bakole's trainer and manager, Billie Nelson. Well, at the risk of being impolite to Billie Nelson, I'm going to call him Captain Obvious because he said that Martin Bakole was overweight. He was too heavy. Yeah, he was too heavy. But at the risk of sort of belaboring the point, Billy, you are not only his manager, but his trainer, his coach. You have some responsibility for getting your fighter in shape, do you not? And the the Ring magazine interviewer sort of was trying to put that to Billie Nelson. And Billie Nelson, quite frankly, he sort of bus-chucked his fighter. Somebody asked me on another video I did I think that Martin Bakole would be bus-chucked, thrown under the bus, right? And I didn't think so. I thought there was that sort of real good loyalty. But this morning, it wasn't a real bus-chucking, but it was a little bit. Because Billie Nelson said, and I'm not going to use exact words, but it'll be close enough. Well, Martin Bakole was 20 stone 6 pounds when I, Billie Nelson, went to Wales, whatever he was doing in Wales. And then Martin Bakole was coming out to Saudi Arabia. This is all like 2 weeks ago. And Billie Nelson was saying he was anticipating that Martin Bakole would continue to lose weight and come in around 20 stone, 280 pounds. And so he was expressing some surprise that Martin Bakole was 299. He didn't really explain how this had happened, but basically he alluded to the fact that Martin Bakole had had no discipline and I guess filled his face for 2 weeks in Saudi Arabia. He went on to say that they're going to hire a nutritionist, a dietitian. I'd actually given that response to some subscriber on another video that he needs a dietitian. But yeah, so they're going to hire a nutritionist, which, to be honest, I'm surprised they didn't have a nutritionist already. Like Martin Bakole is now a millionaire. He's made a lot of money. In today's world, would you not hire a nutritionist for a fighter who you all know and the whole world has said has a problem with his weight? It's a little bit like closing the barn doors after the horse is bolted, is it not? Anyhow, I suppose better late than never. But Billie Nelson then said that Martin Bakole has a problem. He's a vegetarian and he doesn't eat much British food. He goes to buy food in Glasgow from some Congolese shops. And Billie Nelson isn't able to sort of supervise what Martin Bakole is eating. Which again, you're his coach, his manager, and in many respects, you're sort of, you have a much closer relationship with him than perhaps some other coaches or managers have with their fighters. So I'm surprised that you are not taking on more responsibility here. I understand he's a grown man, very grown actually, but there seemed to be a little bit of, there seemed to be an accountability gap, shall we say. Billie Nelson did say that Martin Bakole is very stubborn. He also said that he was going to hire from America a strength and conditioning coach. Again, I'm surprised somebody who's in that sort of, fringe world level, a millionaire, hasn't already hired a strength and conditioning coach. I mean, a lot of high school football teams have strength and conditioning coaches, right? Junior B hockey teams have strength and conditioning coaches. You're a multi-millionaire and you don't have a strength and conditioning coach? I find, again, you know, this is 2025, right? This is not 1962, that you haven't got those things in place. And are there no strength and conditioning coaches in the UK? It's been over 40 years since I lived in the UK, so I'm not up to speed. But you're going to go to hire a strength and conditioning coach from America. I don't think you'd have to go that far, Billy. I suspect that there are strength and conditioning coaches available, even possibly in Scotland. Anyhow, he also said that if Martin Bakole doesn't sort of knuckle down and lose weight and you know, turn his body around, he's not going to have the future that Billie Nelson thinks he could have. Again, Captain Obvious. Yes, we're all seeing this. Fans of Martin Bakole have been saying this for a while. And then he spoke about Richard Riakporte, who, you know, oh yes, you know, very disciplined. He's been living off one meal a day for the last week, and he, you know, he watches what he eats, sort of juxtaposing his two fighters. He did say that he's seen Bakole do things in the gym that nobody else is able to do. And I really wish Billy would now STFU about Martin Bakole's gym work and sparring work, because the proof is in the pudding, no pun intended, sorry. And whenever Bakole has been given this big opportunity, he's coming short and fat. Brilliant against Jared Anderson, who fought the wrong fight. But Martin Bakole is the knife, fork and spoon are beating Martin Bakole. And I think it's time, clearly Billie Nelson now recognizes this, but take that responsibility on. And if your fighter isn't disciplined, then your fighter has to bear the consequences, I suppose. Anyway, it was an interesting video, but I do think now it's time for Billy to shut up about Martin Bakole's going to, you know, knock this guy out, knock that guy out, knock another guy out. Because at the moment, the only thing that Martin Bakole seems to be able to knock out are McDonald's quarter pounders with cheeses. Oh, he's a vegetarian. Hold the patty. Give me extra cheese, I guess. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.